Okay, so good morning students once again. So let us start with our lecture today. Okay, so I'm sharing my screen. Okay, so today we'll be starting a new module of the introduction to vector calculus. Okay, now I will be going by a little bit fast because since few classes have been means you can say not conducted due to some you can say holidays, or because similarly tomorrow maybe there is a holiday, so like this few classes will be has been skipped. Okay, that is why I will try to cover the syllabus as much as possible. Okay, so once again, okay, so talking about the operator now. In case of scalars, you know that we perform the differentiation, integration and all these things. In vector also we can do the same thing. Okay, but generally we can perform a differentiation or a derivative. So a derivative operator which is used in a vector is called a del operator. Okay, one second. Okay, yes, so the derivative operator is called the del operator. Now in del operator, actually it can be, it is also a vector. Okay, because del operator is also kind of a vector. So when you apply del operator on a vector, so that means the operator has to also have some axis. Okay, because suppose in Cartesian coordinate system we have the unit vectors of the three axes. Because a vector is represented like this. Suppose you tell a vector, suppose a vector a, when it is represented in Cartesian coordinate system, we write like this: 3 unit vector x plus 4 unit vector y plus 7 unit vector z. Okay, these are the coordinates, and unit vectors represent that it is a vector. Now when we apply a del operator, the del operator will be applied on each individual axis. Okay, each individual axis it will be operated. Okay, so now, so del operator also has three different axes. Now this del operator, okay, has to be applied on a vector. Now a vector can be in Cartesian coordinate system, it can be in cylindrical coordinate system, or it can be in spherical coordinate system. So based on in what coordinate system it lies, okay, the del operator is also represented in that particular coordinate system, because del operator can be represented in any coordinate system. So if you are dealing with a vector of a Cartesian coordinate, then you have to represent the del operator in Cartesian coordinate. If the vector is spherical or cylindrical, then the del operator will also be accordingly spherical or cylindrical respectively. Now in Cartesian coordinate, the del operator is represented like this. You can see the first component, okay, or the first coordinate, it is of the you can say the x-axis. Okay, now with associated to x-axis we have a del y, a del x, and there is a gap. You can say this is a gap over here because no coefficient is over here. Here also there is a gap. Here also it is a gap. So as if there is no variable over here, it is empty. Okay, so del operator is represented in this way. So del x unit vector x plus del y unit vector y plus del z unit vector z. But del of what? That is kept vacant. Now as far the vector is concerned, it will be used. Now the del operator is not only applied on vector, it is also applied on scalar. So first application of del operator which you will be seeing is that the del operator on a vector or a scalar. Okay, before that, these are the 4 different types of applications of del operator. Okay, the del operator can be applied on a scalar. If it is applied on a scalar, it is called gradient of a scalar. So del operator, when it is applied on a scalar, it is called gradient of a scalar. Okay, so it name changes. So that means gradient of a scalar automatically means that it is a del operator on a scalar. We don't write del operator of a scalar, we write gradient of a scalar. Okay, now if V is a scalar, then it is represented in this way, del V. Okay, now the del operator can be applied on vectors, but in two different ways, because del operator itself is a vector. So we know that when there are two vectors, vector A and vector B, so two kind of multiplication we can perform. One is dot product and one is cross product. Now if we perform a dot product, we get a scalar. Okay, we get a scalar. Okay, suppose scalar is C, it is a scalar. But if we perform a dot product, we get a vector D, which is equals to mod of D and unit vector normal to the that means the normal to the surface of A and B. Okay. So that similarly in dot product also, when it is applied on vector, it can be applied, and del operator when it is applied on vector, it can be applied as a dot product, it can be applied as a cross product. When it is applied on a vector as a dot product, it is called divergence of a vector. So when it is called divergence of a vector, it means that you are applying a del operator, dot product of a del operator with respect to the vector. So divergence of A means del operator dot A, and when the dot product is applied on a vector using curl using the cross product, so when you are applying a dot cross product of del on a vector A, so we call it curl of A. Okay, so that means del operator is applied on a scalar, it is called gradient of a scalar, and on a vector it can be applied in two ways, because since it is a del operator, it is also a vector, so it can be either applied as a dot product or a cross product. Okay, so when it is applied on a vector as a dot product, it is called the divergence of a vector, and when it is applied on a vector as a cross product, it is called the curl of a vector. Okay, now there is the fourth operation, which is called the Laplacian of a scalar. Okay, so that we will come later on. First, these first three things are very important, because based on this, the actual study of electromagnetism or electromagnetic field theory is based. It depends upon the gradient on a scalar and divergence of a vector and curl of a vector. Now first we will talk about the, okay, so I am skipping this part, okay, because this is actually the representation of del, because this is not that important, just a theoretical that how to represent, because if the del operator is there in Cartesian, then how will you represent in spherical? So this is the representation of del operator in spherical. So conversion is being shown over here, the vector conversion. Now see, the conversion from Cartesian to cylindrical and spherical, all of you have seen, because I have explained it to you in the class. Similar fashion you have to apply, then only you will get this particular spherical coordinate del operator. Okay, same for the cylindrical also, because this is for the, I think this is the cylindrical one, this is the cylindrical coordinate, this is the del operator represented in the cylindrical coordinate system. Okay, and this is the del operator represented in the spherical coordinate system. Okay, now first of all let us discuss the gradient of a scalar. Okay, first let us see the application of the del operator. Now when del operator is applied on a scalar, it is called the gradient of a scalar. So if I write the equation first, okay, that means suppose V is a scalar. Scalar means it is only having magnitude, no direction. So when we apply del operator, okay, so we obviously, because this is a scalar, so del operator is a vector, so there won't be any dot product or cross product, so directly it will be multiplied. Okay, that means you are adding some constant to it. Suppose you have a vector like this, the 3 unit vector x plus 4 unit vector y plus 7 unit vector z, and you are multiplying 10 with it. So that means this will become 30, 40, 70, very similar to that. So the nature of this vector will not change, it will remain as a vector. That is why the gradient of a scalar gives you a vector. It gives you a vector. Suppose vector E, on E I will not write because E is electric field intensity. Suppose vector you can say W. Okay, vector W. That means the del operator on a scalar is called as the gradient on a scalar. So gradient on a scalar gives you a vector. This vector is obtained because of the vector property of del operator. Okay. So it is explained in this way. Okay, so it is explained this way. So suppose concentrate on this particular figure. Okay, you see there are three curves. Inner one is there is a curve. Okay, outer one there is a curve, and most outer one there is another curve. Okay, so if you start with the inner one, this surface, this curve is having electric potential. Okay, V1. Now it is called a unipotential surface because this entire curve, okay, this inner curve is having potential V1 all through the surface. That means everywhere the potential is V1, it is not changing. If you have a surface on which the potential is constant wherever you go, that surface is called a unipotential surface. Okay, now the outer surface, okay, this one, the middle one, is also unipotential, but this potential is V2. Okay, now V2 is greater than V1 by some margin which is equals to delta V. That means V2 is equals to V1 plus delta V. That means if you have a point P1 over here, okay, on this particular surface of potential V1, if you jump from V1 to V2, then you will gain some potential by plus delta V. Okay, so you will get greater potential, you will enter a greater potential surface, okay, of value V2. Okay, so that potential will be V2. So that means the potential is increasing by some value. Now the thing is, if you want to jump, okay, we will try to jump using the shortest path. Okay. So if you travel using shortest path, then there will be the maximum rate of increase of V. That means if I am traveling this way, suppose potential is 10 and V1 is 10 and V2 is suppose 15. Okay, if I travel this path at a distance of 2 meter, okay, then I will get one value, and if I travel the path by distance of 1 meter, then I will get another value. So if I travel along 2 meter, 1 second. Okay, so the thing is, so as I was telling that, am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Okay, okay. So this potential difference, so that means I am jumping from V1 to V2. Okay, so if I travel by 2 meter, then my change in this particular you can say potential will be 2.5 volt per meter. But if I take 1 meter distance, if I travel 1 meter distance, that means if I travel the shortest path, okay, then my rate of increase of potential will be 5 volt per meter. Okay, 5 volt per meter. So that means if I take the 1 meter path, then it will be a more rate of increase of potential. Okay, that is called the space rate of increase of potential. So we have to find the path through which we can get the maximum space rate of potential. We have to find that path. So gradient of a scalar means the gradient of a scalar field V is actually a vector that represents both the magnitude and direction of the maximum space rate of increase of V. That means if there are multiple layers of equipotential surfaces, and if you are jumping from one point to one surface to another surface, you are increasing the potential. So if you are increasing the potential, so you have to first of all find out which is the shortest path through which you can increase the potential. If you find the shortest path, that means that if you follow that path, then your potential increase in potential will be maximum. Then you will get the maximum space rate of increase of V. Okay, V can be anything, it can be potential, it can be any scalar. So the thing is, it should be the maximum space rate of increase of V. So that path is called the direction of that gradient of V. So gradient of V is actually a vector which is having a magnitude. What magnitude? The maximum space rate, and direction is the shortest path through which it is obtaining that maximum space rate. Okay, so it is a vector which lets us find out the maximum space rate, that means the shortest path through which we can travel and get the maximum space rate. Okay, so suppose this is point P1, and suppose P2 is the maximum space, it is the point where the length is shortest. So by traveling this line, this path dl, this displacement dl, we can get the maximum space rate of increase of V. Okay, so mathematically it is represented in this way that once again, okay, so yeah, so the increase in potential actually, so it is represented in this way that if you concentrate on this particular formula, okay, this particular equation, or rather if you concentrate on this equation, you will see this term is actually the gradient of V. Okay, because over here we have written, or I have shown you that what is the equation of del operator. Okay, this is the equation of del operator I have shown you. So the equation of del operator is like this. If I write the gradient of V, okay, that means del operator on a scalar, so it will be nothing but equals to, just put V over here. So you will see it becomes a vector, because this is the coordinate del x of V. Okay, that means partial derivative of V with respect to x. That means if V is a scalar, suppose the V value is like this, 3x square y z, suppose. So what will be the del operator? First of all, if it is the partial derivative of V with respect to x, then the equation will be 6x y z unit vector x. Agree? Just do the partial derivative. So put V over here. 1 second. Okay, so now if you do the partial derivative of this v with respect to y, then what we can get? We can get 3x square z, isn't it? Then unit vector y plus partial derivative of v with respect to z, you will get 3x square y, because z will be eliminated and unit vector z. So this is the representation of the del operator.
Sir,
Yes.
sir, would please again differentiation?
ये वाला.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yeah.
Okay. Del operator. So suppose if I represent in this way, this I am showing you for the Cartesian coordinate system only.
Okay, sir.
So del operator in Cartesian coordinate system is represented as del x with respect to unit vector x plus del y with respect to unit vector y plus del z with respect to unit vector z. So that means over here it is vacant, nothing is there. Okay. So now if you write the del operator on a scalar, suppose scalar is v, then we call it gradient of a scalar v. So this becomes a vector. How? Because it is very simple. Because if you have a scalar can be anything. Suppose scalar value is like this, say 3x square yz, it is a scalar. That means it is having only magnitude, इसका कोई direction नहीं है. तो ये when you are finding the gradient of a scalar, that is gradient of a scalar v, so the how to find that, because you have only v. If it is told that v is in Cartesian coordinate system and the value of v is 3x square yz, so calculate the gradient of this value v. What you will do, you will write the del operator and put v over here. So gradient of v means del operator where in this empty space you will put the scalar. Okay, this is only possible for gradient of v. For divergence and curl it is not possible in this way. Okay, but only for scalar gradient you can do this. So while you are calculating this, what you are doing, you are performing the partial derivative on what? On this scalar, isn't it? You are performing the partial derivative on the scalar, unit vector x, then again del y, unit vector y, plus again del z, unit vector z. So what will be the over here? Value of v, 3x square yz, over here 3x square yz. So if you perform the partial derivative, you know how to perform that. It will be x with respect to only x, partial derivative है ना, तो 6x y z unit vector x. Then next is with respect to y, so 3x square z unit vector y plus 3x square y unit vector z. Okay, this is the gradient of v. Okay, so this is the formula, but how we are getting that one will be explained. That is what is being explained over here. So this equation is actually this part which I have just highlighted using this box. It is del of v. Okay, क्यों यहाँ पर v को हमने लिख दिया. अब इसके साथ what we will do, we will do a dot product of a vector. What is this vector? This vector is dl. This vector is dl. What is dl? That means it is the shortest path. That is, if you are traveling from point P1 to P2, then you are traveling the shortest path. But you are increasing the potential by some value. Okay, so we have told you that you have to go for the maximum space rate of increase of v. Okay, maximum space rate of increase of v. That means you have to take the shortest path. So suppose this is the shortest path, and the displacement is dl, and dl is equals to dx unit vector x plus dy unit vector y plus dz unit vector z. Why? Because displacement is a vector. Okay, it is a vector. So if you perform this dot product, then what you get? You are actually getting the increase of potential. क्यू के ये एक्चुअली उल्टा लिखा गया है, क्योंकि ये वाला हिस्सा देखो, इफ यू कंसिडर ऑन दिस पर्टिकुलर पार्ट यू विल सी इट इज व्हाट आई हैव एक्सप्लेन दैट if you have a potential V1 of 10 and V2 as 15, so your change in potential is 5. So if you are traveling that change in potential along a path of 2 meter, then your rate of increase of potential will be 2.5. And if you are traveling by 1 meter, it will be 5 volt per meter. So that means potential divided by displacement is giving you the gradient. So this is actually the gradient. Okay. So which means that the difference, okay, the difference in potential with respect to this gives you the gradient. Okay, so this difference in potential is equals to gradient into displacement. So gradient dot displacement, so it is a dot product. Why? Because difference in potential, because we cannot write this equation like this. The way I have written, जैसा मैंने लिखा है कि del v, del मतलब के derivative, sorry, you can say the delta v. I will write delta v. So ये देखो, ये delta v है, और delta v अगर confusion हो रहा है तो मैं एक काम करता हूँ, इसको d लिखता हूँ, ठीक है. So dv by dl equals to del v. Del v is the gradient. That means dv is equals to del v dot dl, but we cannot write like this directly because this is scalar, this is vector and this is vector. ऐसा लिख नहीं सकते हम. Just for understanding I am just telling you, okay, because this means that the difference in potential is obtained by gradient dot dl, which is ultimately the meaning that del v gradient is nothing but dv by dl. That we will prove. Okay, that proof is shown over here. Proof is like this. Suppose let us say that this particular del v, जो gradient which we have, okay, this we are not declaring as the shortest path. Okay, we are not declaring as the shortest path. We are declaring, suppose it is not traveling along the shortest path, it is traveling along a path which is more than the shortest path, okay, a greater path. So suppose g is represented like this. G in place of delta v we are writing g, okay, in case of delta v we are writing g. So g is equals to del v, del x of v unit vector x plus del y of unit vector y, or del z v of unit vector z. Now that means what we are doing, we are writing in this way that this is g. Okay, suppose this is g, this part is g, okay. So g dot dl is giving you dv, okay. So dot dl मतलब क्या है, g cos theta dl, okay. That means this path is g, suppose, okay, this is g, okay, this is g. That means if I highlight this part over here, okay, if you see this part over here, we have, this is the shortest, okay, this is the shortest from P1 to P2, but we don't know the shortest yet. So what we are doing, we are taking one g over here, okay, one g vector over here, okay. Then we are telling that yes, g is a vector along which we are going to find the del, but suppose dl is the shortest path, okay. So well, let me explain this way, one second. So suppose DL, the line DL which we are having, okay, we have to travel along this DL only. Why? Because DL is the shortest, it is the shortest one. So if you travel along DL, you will get the gradient of V. But to prove it, what we are doing, we are taking another vector G, okay, which is not along DL, not along the shortest path. So it will travel along a path which is more than the shortest path, okay, which is having a greater length. So the angle between G and D is theta, okay, theta. Okay, it is theta. So now if you travel along this path, so we will not get the gradient. So what we will do, we are just multiplying d dot dl, g dot dl. So what we can write, g cos theta into dl. So over here we can write dv by dl equals to g cos theta. Now we can do dv by dl. How? Because since the vector form is gone, now this is only the scalar. See, this L is now become an italics, so it is a scalar, it is scalar only, magnitude, okay. So dv by dl is equals to g cos theta. So this is the differential length, that means potential per unit length. So dv matlab v2 minus v1 hai dv, and dl is the shortest path. So the shortest path is equals to g cos theta, okay. So now this dv by dl should be maximum, then only I can get the gradient. The maximum matlab the shortest path is suppose dn, so dl is maximum when it is normal, okay, and when cos theta, theta is 0. So theta if it is 0, that means theta 0 means that this g is actually lying on dl. g अगर dl के ऊपर से जाएगा तभी theta 0 आएगा. So the dl is declared to be the shortest path, okay. So that means if you go along g, then you will not get the gradient, then you have to go along dl. So dl is only give you the shortest path, it is the shortest path, so it will help you to find the gradient. So that is why you have to travel g along dl. So g will become gradient of v. Why? Because g is traveling on dl, so g will not be there, it is actually dl, delta v, gradient of v, okay. So that is the only path which is the shortest one. So that is possible when the angle of theta is 0, because if you are traveling along g, that means you are not traveling along the gradient, so you are having some theta value. But if you shift and come towards this dl, then you will get the gradient of v. So that means the angle should be 0. Okay, so angle should be 0. That is why it is written over here like this, that angle theta is 0 and del that means the dv by dl equals to g, where g is the gradient, okay, g is the gradient. So g is actually the gradient of v. So we will write, forget about g, so we will write gradient of v is equals to del v, okay, which is this, which is nothing but the rate of change of that particular scalar, okay. V is a scalar, so it can be potential, it can be anything. So the rate of change of that scalar along the shortest path, it is called the gradient. Now this is the formula. Now for cylindrical coordinate system, if you write the cylindrical coordinate system del operator, and if you have v with you, just put the value v similar to this. Here also, if you see, you have the spherical coordinate system, of the scalar v, just put the value of v over here in the empty spaces. Okay, so there is one numerical, okay, with respect to it. I've just shown you, I've already explained the numerical. Suppose if you talk about Cartesian coordinate, I've shown you. Suppose if you talk about the cylindrical coordinate system, suppose 1b, so u is equals to rho square z cos 2 phi. This is scalar, so it is not having any direction, only magnitude. So you have to find the del operator. So del operator of cylindrical coordinate system, you will write and put u after del, after this derivative, partial derivative symbol. Now you do the partial derivative with respect to rho. So what will happen? It will become 2 rho z cos 2 theta, 2 rho z cos 2 theta, unit vector phi. Then next will be with respect to phi. Okay, so this will become, it will become 2 sine minus, okay, cos, derivative of cos theta is, or cos phi is minus sine phi. So derivative of cos 2 phi is minus 2 sine phi. So this will become minus 2 rho square z sine phi, unit vector phi, plus with respect to z. So what will happen? Only z will be eliminated, so it will be rho square cos 2 phi, unit vector z. Very simple. Okay. Okay, similarly here also we have one example. Okay, so have you understood this del operator, this part, or this numerical? Because the del operator of the scalar gradient is not that difficult. Okay, nothing is difficult, but it is not that complex. But once you start with divergence, it is a little bit more calculation is there, but it is also quite easy because you just have to do the dot product. Okay, so in the next topic, in the next class, we will be discussing about the del operator. Okay, so after del operator and cross operator, then we will see that what is the actual application in electromagnetic
Sir,
field.
please show the next numerical, sir.
Next numerical.
One more numerical.
One. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Is the time? Okay, so I think 5 minutes is there. Okay, so I
No,
will.
sir, you have showed. Yes, sir, yes, that one.
Okay, okay, okay. Yes, I'm showing this one. There is no problem. So this numerical C, it is given that W is a scalar. Okay, x square y square plus x y z. It is called compute the gradient of W. Okay, so there are several parts of this problem. So compute gradient of W. Okay, and direction derivative dw by dl in the direction this and this. So first of all, there are two parts. First part is you have a scalar with you have to find out the gradient of W. So gradient of W means you have to find out the maximum space rate of increase of the scalar W. That means you have to find the change in W along the shortest path. So automatically by doing the gradient, you will get that solution. So what we will do, we will just follow the steps which we have just seen. You take W, you compute that del operator. So what you get, you will do the partial derivative. So very, very easy, x square y square, so it will become 2x y square plus yz, unit vector x, and rest you can do quite easy. Okay, the first part, your solution you have got, it is okay. Now comes the second part of the question. In the second part of the question, it is told, and you have to compute the direction derivative dw by dl. Now see, dw by dl is equals to gradient of W only when this is maximum. अब मान लो कि dl जो है, मतलब कि dw by dl, if dl is the shortest value, then only this part will be maximum value. But if dl is not the shortest value, then it will not be the maximum value. So in this question it is told that in the first part we have calculated the value of dw by dl along the shortest path. So dw by dl is actually the gradient because it is along the shortest path. Now suppose it is told that if you don't travel along the shortest path, you travel another path by another path. So that is shown over here. This part of the problem tells that this scalar which you are shifting, you are not following the shortest path, you are taking another route which is not the shortest path. Okay, so that route is suppose dl, which is not the shortest path. So what is the dl value? Dl value is this. Okay, dl value is this. So at a particular point, you have to find. Okay, so that what you will do at a particular point, this part I will come later. तो इस क्वेश्चन का मतलब है कि there are two curves over here. Suppose this is W1, this is W2, two scalars are there. So suppose this is the shortest path. Okay, so this is the shortest path. So we will call the shortest path as dn. If you travel along the shortest path, then you are getting dw by dn, which is equals to gradient of w. Why? Because dn is the shortest. But if you don't travel along dn, you are traveling along another path, dl. So here also you will get dw by dl, but which is not equals to this one, not equals to this. So what we can do, how to calculate this? Because इसको कैलकुलेट करने के लिए dl तो हमको पता है, लेकिन dw नहीं पता. प्रॉब्लम में कहीं भी dw का वैल्यू नहीं दिया गया है. तो क्या करेंगे इसको करने के लिए? द थिंग विच वी नीड इज दैट वी हैव द वैल्यू ऑफ ग्रेडियंट. ग्रेडियंट का वैल्यू पता है, मतलब शॉर्टेस्ट पाथ पे जाने के लिए जो चाहिए उसका वैल्यू मिल गया. अब क्या करेंगे? अब इसके साथ इसका डायरेक्शन को कहां पर, यहां पर. ठीक है, इसको क्या करेंगे? इसको अगर घुमा दे यहां पे, दैट मीन्स हियर ऑल्सो इट इज हैविंग सम यूनिट वेक्टर. फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल यू हैव टू अंडरस्टैंड इन दिस वे दैट इफ यू आर हैविंग एनी लेंथ, okay, any displacement, listen carefully, if you are having any length of any displacement, you are actually traveling along a vector. So suppose this is a vector dl, so that means इसका mod वैल्यू है, लेंथ है dl, और इसका यूनिट वेक्टर है मान लो l, यूनिट वेक्टर l. That means this dl वेक्टर जो है, ठीक है, वो है mod magnitude and unit vector. Now dn was a vector, n for Nagpur, dn was a vector and l was another vector. Now n जो वेक्टर था वो शॉर्टेस्ट था, इसलिए dw by dn, after doing that we are getting the gradient. But dw by dl we will not get gradient, so we will get another value that you have to calculate. But the problem is we don't have dw value, so इसका वैल्यू नहीं पता है, तो फिर dl को वैल्यू पता है, तो डिवाइड कैसे करेंगे? डिवाइड करने की जरूरत नहीं है. क्या है कि dw के जगह पे जो डेल w का वैल्यू है, मतलब ग्रेडियंट है, उसको लेंगे. उसको वो कहां जा रहा है? n डायरेक्शन पे जा रहा है. तो वो जिस डायरेक्शन पे जा रहा है, तो उस डायरेक्शन में ना जाके इसका जो मैग्नीट्यूड है उसको इस डायरेक्शन के साथ मल्टीप्लाई करेंगे, तो इसका वैल्यू निकल जाएगा. दैट मीन्स दिस वैल्यू, दिस इज अ वेक्टर, इट इज अ वेक्टर. ओके, सो इट इज गोइंग इन दिस डायरेक्शन. सो इफ यू टेक द मैग्नीट्यूड एंड इफ यू मल्टीप्लाई विद द यूनिट वेक्टर ऑफ दिस डायरेक्शन, देन यू विल गेट द वैल्यू ऑफ दिस. वो ऑब्वियसली इसके साथ इक्वल नहीं होगा, क्योंकि डायरेक्शन चेंज हो रहा है, तो उसका वेक्टर तो चेंज होगा. मान लो कि you have 3 unit vector x. If you take the 3 and you shift the gear by 90 degree, then you will get 3 unit vector y. So 3 common है, लेकिन वेक्टर इक्वल है क्या? नहीं, वेक्टर इक्वल नहीं है. Both the vectors are different. 3 unit vector x is a vector which is traveling along x axis, and 3 unit vector y is a vector which is traveling along y axis. So these two vectors are different, but we are taking the scalar and we are what we are doing, we are taking it and we are adding the unit vector of another axis. तो वही करेंगे, इसका मैग्नीट्यूड लेंगे, मैग्नीट्यूड लेके इसका यूनिट वेक्टर एक्सिस के साथ मल्टीप्लाई कर देंगे. ओके, तो मिल जाएगा. अभी क्या है कि मिल जाएगा, लेकिन यहां पर जो है डायरेक्शन डेरिवेटिव बोला है. ठीक है, डायरेक्शन डेरिवेटिव मतलब dw by dl. So actually dw by dl is actually will not get the vector, it is a scalar. Why? Because dw is equals to w2 minus w1. So w2 and w1 are two scalar quantities, so dw will also be a scalar. अब dl जो है, dl का हम लोग को पता है कि ये वेक्टर है, लेकिन इसका स्केलर पार्ट लेंगे. इसका स्केलर पार्ट लेके फिर dw by dl मॉड करेंगे. ये जो मैंने लिखा है ना, ये एक्चुअली मॉड वैल्यू ही लिखा है. ठीक है, यहाँ पर जो लिखा है। तो क्या करेंगे, इसका जो उल्टा करेंगे, इसका वेक्टर को लेंगे, वेक्टर के साथ इसका डायरेक्शन के साथ मल्टीप्लाई कर देंगे, डॉट प्रोडक्ट। तो gradient of w is a vector, and if you dot product the with respect to dl, you will get a scalar. If you get a scalar, then this is equals to this one. तो इस डायरेक्शन में स्केलर नहीं चाहिए, इस डायरेक्शन में चाहिए। क्या करेंगे, इस वेक्टर को इस डायरेक्शन के यूनिट वेक्टर के साथ मल्टीप्लाई करने से इसका स्केलर निकल जाएगा। तो वही करेंगे, ये डेल डब्ल्यू है जो ग्रेडियंट है, ग्रेडियंट को लेंगे और इसका जो डायरेक्शन है, ओके, डीएल। अब डीएल मतलब डीएल का वर्ड है ये वाला, ये वेक्टर, ठीक है। तो ये है डीएल, ये पार्ट है डीएल, दिस इज डीएल वेक्टर, ओके। नाउ वी नीड द स्केलर पार्ट, द मॉड वैल्यू। तो इसका मॉड वैल्यू क्या क्या होगा, इसका मॉड वैल्यू होगा 3 स्क्वायर 4 स्क्वायर 12 स्क्वायर, 169 आएगा। तो वैल्यू होगा 13। तो 13 इज डी। तो क्या होगा कि इसका जो वेक्टर है, इसको शॉर्ट में लिखा है, ठीक है। ये एक्चुअली ऐसा लिखना है कि 3 यूनिट वेक्टर x प्लस 4 यूनिट वेक्टर y प्लस 12 यूनिट वेक्टर z डिवाइडेड बाय मॉड 13। तो दिस इज डीएल डॉट प्रोडक्ट विद रेस्पेक्ट टू दिस, ठीक है, विद रेस्पेक्ट टू दिस, एंड यू विल गेट दी सॉल्यूशन। अब ये देखो, ये जो है डेल डब्ल्यू, ये कहां से मिला हमको? तो डेल डब्ल्यू ये पता है, इसलिए मैं इस प्रॉब्लम को नेक्स्ट क्लास के लिए रख रहा था कि आर यू हैविंग एनी क्लास नाउ?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so it is better that you leave because it will take time. That is why I was skipping this portion because I wanted to explain it to you in the next class. Okay.
Okay, sir. Okay, sir.
इसलिए मैंने इसको skip करा था अभी के लिए।
Sir,
मैं बोला
sir, I have a question, sir.
Yes, please. Because
सर हम लोग का सर मिड सेम और सेमेस्टर एग्जाम कब होगा?
वो तो
Sir,
अभी
कुछ
मुझे पता
have you any idea?
No, because see, you are not being directly added to the college group yet, okay? Because I think you are communicated through Telegram, okay? So over there, whatever news you will get, okay? Because there is some you can
Okay,
say
sir. Thank you.
official issues for that. Why it will be declared, then you will be officially being whatever dates are there, it will declare with you or share with you, okay? So this problem is little bit, second part is little bit complicated, so that is why I will explain in the next class, okay? So you may leave. Okay, so thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, sir.